Hey, what is up guys? So Cross Soul Sneak Peek is going to be taking place this weekend, and we are going to be going over the best cards that you want to be pulling out of your booster packs or trading your friends and other people that are at the sneak peek for. But anyways, there is actually one card that we don't know what it does that is a super rare. We are only covering the money cards, so to speak, in this set. So basically anything rare or common we will not be covering. So anyways, these are the main money cards. So first off, this card, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, aka Yuki Usagi. This card is an awesome card. It's kind of like an effect failure, but it destroys the monster instead of negating the effect. Very great hand trap. Plus, it's also a tuner, so I really do like that. And it's also light, so fuel for the BLS. Next up, we got the Teller Knight Pulmeus? I don't know. You're probably going to slaughter me on that pronunciation. But anyways, this card is basically used majority of the time in a Cyber Dragon Infinity deck, or you can just kind of make it to bring out that card in general. This card still has access to doing other stuff, but for the most part, that is what it's used for. I think this is going to be a really hot card because it lets you bring out cards you normally just don't want to play because it requires, level 5 or, whatever the requirements are. But I think this card is just really good, and obviously Teller Knights can make pretty good use of it. Next up, Jar of Avarice. Not a bad card at all, because we don't even have Pot of Avarice in the TCG, whereas in the OCG, they happen to have Pot of Avarice. But this card is just really strong, especially for decks that need to recycle their engines. Say something, for example, like the Star Seraphs, that's the deck. Yeah, Star Seraphs, you can go through like a lot of stuff relatively quick, and then if you can recycle your engine and draw a card, it's not bad at all. And some decks can go through relatively quick, and especially if you're playing a deck that like Summoner Monk, discard a card into another Summoner Monk, into discard another card, and then obviously if you're good luck with Volatile Chain, you can go relatively quick, and it lets you put back cards that are limited. So this card is looking pretty good. It's only rare in the OCG, but here in the TCG, it is actually going... Oh, I can't even click on it anymore. They changed it. Anyways, this is definitely super rare or higher, though. Anyways, Lose a Turn. This one is going to be an ultra rare in the TCG. This card's really good for stun, as well as just decks that just don't really need to special summon a bunch. So, it's a continuous trap card that says, activate only if you control no special summon monsters. Negate the effects of all special summoned monsters during the turn they are special summoned. If an effect monster is special summoned in attack position, change them to defense position. So I think that's really good. It lets slower decks have a chance, and as well as other decks that are technically still meta that can make use of this, like Cliports, they can definitely make use of this because you're able to be like, oh, I only normal summon my monster, bro, and so I negate all your effects. So I really do like that. And then, in addition to that, even if you special summon, it doesn't matter that you're going to be negating their effects because you're just going to tribute for another clean monster. You can activate their effects anyways, right? But very good card indeed. Next up, Galaxy Cyclone. It's kind of like a take on some extra destruction. Very good against, things that are continuous. So, it's a normal spell card, so it's not quick play, but you get to target one set spell drop card on the field, destroy, and then during your main phase, except this turn, the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it. Then target one face-up spell trap card on the field, destroy it, and you can only use its effect once per turn. But that's pretty cool. You're able to get rid of, say, something like Vanity's Emptiness, and in addition to that, you're able to just target a set card. So, I don't know. Do you guys think that this will replace MST? Because a lot of players think that this card's going to completely replace MST. Now remember, guys, this is not a quick play. If this was quick play, then I don't see MST seeing like any more play. But because it's not a quick play, that does determine a lot of stuff. But still a very strong card. I think a lot of decks can definitely make more use out of this, because this card can technically get you more advantage than a Mystical Space Typhoon. Next up, we got the Zephyr cards coming out in this. So Oracle of Zephyr, a very strong card. I believe this one is going to be secret rare in the set. But if you're playing Zephyrus, you're going to want to max out on these, so I think this could be a very hot card as well. Next up, I think we're jumping into like the smaller cards now. But those, for the most part, these right here, guys, are going to be basically the hottest cards out of the set. So that's what you're looking forward to for the most part. But there's Chao Feng coming out. He can be used in Zephyr. He's not only going to be used in Yang Zings. I know Zephyr can technically be considered Shadal, Yang Zing, Necros, but for the most part, I would consider it almost like its own archetype. But you can make it in that deck. Obviously, Yang Zings can make use of it. This is like the Yang Zing boss monster. If you summon it, it's like the Yang Zing towers. You summon this, you basically win the game as long as you know what your opponent's playing. And you're able to just shut down all those effects and make it immune to spells, immune to traps. Make it so your opponent can't take it and stuff like that. This card is also very strong. Clearwing Synchro Dragon It's going to be really strong in the Jet Synchron deck because you can throw out this card super easy, especially if you get multiple of these in a duel. It's just very annoying to deal with. It's once per turn, during either player's turn, when a level 5 or higher monster activates its effect on the field, you can negate its activation, the effect, and destroy it. And then once per turn during either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated that targets exactly one level 5 or higher monster on the field, which of course includes itself, and no other cards, you can negate the activation and destroy it. And if this card's effect destroys a monster, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. So if this effect wasn't enough, let's just give it more attack, right? But yeah, this card, I really do like it because it's, it's got decent attack too, and it can obviously negate a bunch of stuff. Obviously, if they're playing like, a rank 4 spam, then not doing so hot. But yeah, it's still a pretty good card. And next up, Harpy Harpist. You can actually use this on a lot of different things because it's basically just used for its end phase effect, which is during the end phase, if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a level 4 Wing Beast type monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. That can include some Blackwing monsters, that can include the Raid Raptors. Mostly it's used in Raid Raptors, but I think this could still be a decently... Oh, let's check out the OCG artwork. Let's go... Oh, come on then. Man, much more sexier than the OCG. That's what... Oh, man. Wish we had the OCG artwork, but unfortunately we got a tube top instead of that, like, skimpy thing. But anyways, next up, we got the other Zephyr cards. I feel like the Zephyrs are a pretty good standalone archetype. There's a bunch of them are high rarity in this set, but I feel like they're going to get overshadowed by the Ignites. The Ignites are a much better Pendulum deck. But this deck is definitely not bad at all, guys. This deck can still definitely put up a good fight, but when you compare it to the Ignites, it just isn't on the same level. There's also a few good Infernoid cards. This one's going to be ultra rare. This one lets you get rid of all of the spell and trap. We already have the Anunku, which gets rid of all the monsters. This one gets rid of all the back row. Some players still like this deck. I really dislike this deck because if you've ever played this deck and you don't open up with Reasoning or don't get it within the duel, and you just, don't happen to get good mills with like your summon, the Raiden or the Card Trooper, the deck it dies relatively fast because you don't have any background on that deck usually. Usually it might be like a Vandy's, if anything, and you play like very few because you want to send a bunch of monsters to the graveyard. So it's kind of one of those coin toss deck. Almost reminds me of Lightsworn, except for you literally need Reasoning, otherwise you just lose most duels in that deck. Anyways, yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of Satellars that are, the Zephyrs that are coming in this, and I think they're a pretty good deck, but they will get overpowered by the Ignites for sure. Next up, I want to mention some of these other small cards. They're not like terrible to pull, but I want to just talk about them real quick. I think they'll be worth a few bucks probably. Galaxy Ace Full Armor Photon Dragon. This card would have been real cool if we had access to number 95 with the Dragon Rulers, but unfortunately we never even got a chance to play with number 95 with the Dragon Rulers. Next up, we have this other card that I think is pretty cool. I think this could be a very good side deck card against those annoying Satellar Knight with their Altair Deneb plays. So, Monster Rebone. I love the name of this card. Anyways, if your opponent special summons a monster this turn, activate this card by targeting one monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon it to your side of the field in defense position. When this card leaves the field, advantage that monster. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. So, they go for their Call of the Haunted. They go ahead and bring out their Altair. They want to get back the Deneb. And you say, no more Denebs. I mean, yes, DeeDee Crow could be used in the same way, but this card has that utility of, actually giving you a monster. Maybe you can exceed with it. So, kind of like it for that, too. Definitely a cool card, too. Maybe some other archetypes that will come out in the future where they summon something and they will special summon, and then they're going to try to get something on the graveyard and like, no, I'm going to take that card. I do like that. It's pretty cool. And then there's also this card, there's more Zephyr stuff. This card is really cool. It's basically negate anything as long as you banish a face-up Zephyr monster from your extra deck. Pretty good stuff. I wonder if... it says one face-up monster, so I'm thinking, I wonder if they ever make a Zephyr thing that goes in the extra deck will, I'm talking about like a Zephyr XYZ or a Synchro. That wouldn't count because it wouldn't be technically face-up, right? Because it does say face-up Zephyr. I'm thinking, I know Convulsions of Nature only puts your main deck, I believe, but if there's something that puts your extra deck face-up, that would be pretty funny. And if we got some Zephyr XYZs or Synchros, we can make use of this basically for free, which would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, it'd be cool to see if they did something like a Convulsions of Nature for the extra deck. Next up, Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball. It's kind of a cool card. I feel like it's probably worth like $1 or $2. It's the Super Heavyweight Samurai deck. There's a lot of people that try it. I've tried it myself. The deck just doesn't do too well. They got a lot of great support, but it's probably worth like $1 or $2. Like I said, I'm getting to the small cards now. Number S39, Utopia Prime. I like how it has 25-10 attack. You pay until you have 10 life points, and then you destroy as many special monsters as possible, and then if you do, you banish them and inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each monster banished by this effect. I believe you can get this out with the Satellar Knight card, so it's kind of cool to see, like, other options that, other decks have. There's also Powerful Rebirth. You activate this card by targeting one level 4 little monster in your graveyard. You special summon it, and then you increase its level by 1. It gains 100 attack and defense, but who cares about that? That's just another card that's like a like Call of the Haunted, but it increases its level by 1, so I'm thinking maybe Chronomalies can make use of it. We just got Nebra Disc in the TCG. Just other cards that are just kind of cool. Maybe this will have some interaction in the future. There's also some Melody Diva support. I don't really think this deck took off. This card's kind of cool though. But the problem with Bloom, it doesn't have enough attack to make it worth it, because all that's going to happen to this card is well, as long as, Aria isn't on board, it's just going to get Castell. Basically, it can't be destroyed by battle by card effect. So it's like a Beals, and then you inflict damage to your opponent, and then it destroys the monster. So, I mean, it's an okay card. Next up, we have the Molche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode. I don't really think this card is going to be great at all. It's probably going to be one of those cards that perverts like, but, hey, that's cool. There's also Ritual Beast Ulti Gaia Pelio. I think that the Ritual Beasts, they're not doing that great in the TCG or in the OCG. I mean, there's a few of them that top once in a while, but we already know that the next best deck is... Zephyr is going to be pretty strong, but the Ignites are going to completely dominate the game, I think, once those get their full support, especially in the TCG, because we have 3 reinforcements of the army, which is absolutely crazy. And obviously with that, and we have 3 Armageddon Knight, and if that Key Beetle works in the TCG, because in the OCG apparently they ruled that you can't do it anymore. They're like, okay, this is too broken, we just broke the game, we can't allow this to happen. I don't know, do you guys remember when Dark Soul used to get its effect multiple times? And then they're like, wait, we decided we changed the ruling on that. And there's also another ruling where Tour Guide into Sangan, and then if you made like number 17, Leviathan Dragon, if you detached, you would get Sangan's effect, and then they changed their mind on that. So, kind of comes down to that as far as the Ignites as well. But Ignites, like, I know I keep on talking about Ignites and they're coming out in the next set, but I'm trying to make you guys look ahead in the game. There's also Necros of Sophia. No one really pulls this off, but it's there. And there's also Dante, but I think this is going to be a few dollar card. And then this, I think this card, it didn't, if it had Trish's effect, which apparently it was supposed to, like, that was actually a discussion. People were like thinking that it was going to have a Trish's effect. But I don't think it's really worth it. I mean, you'd have to play Waters, and no one really wants to play the Effing Shaddoll Fusion. But if you're playing the Zephyrs, maybe you can make use of it. But for the most part, guys, these cards are the cards that you want to look for. The Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This Tellarknight Pulmius, I don't know, I'm probably pronouncing that one wrong. The Jar of Avarice, Lose a Turn, and Galaxy Cyclone's pretty good, and then the Oracle's out for. Those are all great cards to pull, and the rest of the cards I kind of just want to talk about. Just wanted to let you guys know that they were in the set, and those were like super rare or higher. Again, there's a lot of great comments and rares, but a lot of people just want to know, especially if they're going to be going to the sneak peek, they want to know what the heck they want to pull. And there is one card, if it's good, I'll update it in the comment section, but if it's like super amazing, I will definitely mention it in like a video, if it's deserving of a video on its own. But for the most part, I think this is probably going to be the money card out of the set, and it is going to be a secret rare, and I think this card's pretty good. But guys, I'd like to know, what is your favorite card that we talked about in this, or what cards are you looking forward to pulling out of the set? Personally, for me, this card, even if it wasn't a secret rare, you guys know how I don't really like playing traps, and I like monster mash decks, and this definitely fits in, and you can get rid of a monster, and a lot of people are thinking that this can replace Effect Failure. Keep in mind, guys, this does not actually negate the effect. It only destroys the monster, but it's pretty good. Plus, it's a Psychic and a Tuner, E-Telly target confirmed. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes, signing out.